Chairman. Mr. Edwards, first of all, I agree with you. I think the overall solution here is to simplify our tax code. That would solve all the problems. That's the root cause, a very complex tax code. I fear that the $80 billion is just a $80 billion Band-Aid. It's not going to work. And of course, what I'm concerned about, I expressed this with Commissioner Werfel as well, is that $80 billion will not be spent in an impartial way. Highly concerned about partisanship in these federal agencies, law enforcement, and the IRS, and we've got two examples. Mr. Chairman, I hope we can get your cooperation with trying to extract information on the IRS visit to, for example, journalist Matt Taibbi. We got a response. It's a non-responsive response, but we'll continue to follow up on that. But I want to talk about another thing that's just popping in the news in terms of partisanship. And Mr. Chairman, you received a letter, together with Ranking Member Crapo and Senator Grassley, from the attorney for a IRS whistleblower who's claiming partisanship in a high-profile IRS investigation. They are asking for whistleblower protection, and they're asking to be interviewed. And my understanding is that they don't want to be interviewed by the House and the Senate. They'd like to do it one time. I would request that you cooperate with their request. I'd ask that you enter this letter into the record. Mr. Chairman, can you enter this letter into the record?
Without objection, so ordered.
And I would also ask, if we do arrange that interview, I would like to be part of that interview. I'd like to be present when we interview that whistleblower, because the news reports widely are assuming that that is Hunter Biden. And of course, the chairman's always talking about wealthy tax cheats. Well, let's describe a wealthy tax cheat. Hunter Biden became a board member on Burisma in April or May of 2014. 3 years later, his financial advisor, business partner of the family, the Biden family financial advisor, Eric Schwerin, sends him an email saying, "Hey, Hunter, you understated your income by $400,000 in 2014. I mean, this is 2 or 3 years later, right? Now, eventually, Hunter Biden paid about $2 million of delinquent taxes, but he didn't pay them. A Hollywood attorney named Kevin Morris made that payment in May of 2022, 5 years after Mr. Schwerin told him that you underreported income by $400,000, where he must have underreported income by a lot more than $400,000 if he's making a $2 million tax payment. So the concern we have now, according to this letter, is that entire IRS investigatory team has been pulled off the Hunter Biden case. My question for you, Mr. Fort, in your time in the IRS, in the investigatory division, the criminal division, was there ever another instance where an entire IRS investigatory team was pulled off a tax case?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So yeah, I've spent almost 30 years with IRS criminal investigation. I'm not aware of a situation such as that, but again, when I retired from the organization at the end of 2020, I was in charge of about 3,000 people, including 2,100 agents, so I can't say with certainty whether or not that happened.
So again, we have a whistleblower here. He's seeking whistleblower protection. Sounds like the House has granted it. I'm not sure what the Senate is doing. This is the committee of jurisdiction. I hope you grant whistleblower protection and cooperate in an interview with this whistleblower, because we need to find out this information, claiming partisanship in the Hunter Biden investigation. And now, the fact that the Justice Department has removed the entire investigatory team off of the case, that just smacks of partisanship and erodes the American people's confidence that the IRS will be fair and impartial and administer justice in the tax code equally. Do you agree that that erodes confidence in the IRS, this recent revelation?
So even though I've been gone from the government for 2 years, federal law prohibits me from discussing any specific taxpayer at all, but I would just agree that it's a serious allegation.
Well, again, in having an IRS investigatory team pulled off of any case would certainly get you scratching your head, right? Highly concerned about what's pulling off here?
Again, in my experience, I'm not personally aware of a situation such as that, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen during my tenure.
Okay, and again, Mr. Chairman, I would also like your cooperation in my request for information from Commissioner Werfel on the Matt Taibbi. We're going to try and get from Mr. Taibbi a release to have the IRS release those records, because right now the IRS is claiming they can't do that. We also asked, by the way, general questions, which the IRS also didn't respond to us. So I'm going to need your help if we're going to get to the bottom of that potential partisanship within the IRS.
I'm going to respond when you're done. You're just over your time. Are you done?
Yep.
Great. I am aware of the matter that Senator Johnson's brought up, as has been my practice on 6103 protected matters. I have been pursuing this issue on a bipartisan basis here with Ranking Member Crapo, and we are going to continue to do so. Given 6103 and the sensitive nature of the information for all involved, there just isn't anything more I can say about it now. Okay,